Before we get started, just wanted to, say during this 5-game stretch, just can't say how much we appreciate the support from everybody. This is our 5th straight game of over 100,000 in attendance, and we feel it, and it means a lot to us, and we certainly want to put on a good show for everybody, and then also all the people that make this work, to put on, a game. There's just so many people that have to do their parts, from ticketing to marketing to the operations to on the field to maintenance to facilities to the audio and video. I mean, there's just so many people, and certainly it all starts with our athletic director, Gene Smith. But just wanted to say thank you for that. It's been a good 5-week run here, and now we go on the road next week. But really want to say thank you to everybody involved.
We'll open up the questions. Front row right. Tim May. On 3.
Yeah, there we go. I got to ask, Ryan, 49-10 win, but most people, Twitter's abuzz about what happened between you and Greg Schiano there after Jesse Mirko took off on that punt. And
Sure.
Just what's your take on that and what you guys say to each other at
I figured
midfield?
that'd be your first question.
Yeah. Well, I may not get another one.
Nah.
I was going to ask about Miyan WIlliams.
No,
they asked that too.
Yeah, they came after the punt, and Jesse rolled out to the right. And nothing we had ever worked on. He just saw it and took it. Was just a football player, and then took that shot on the sideline, and things got heated. And just one coach defending their side, one coach defending theirs. No hard feelings at all. Told him that after the game, and have an unbelievable amount of respect for him. So that's all that was.
Over to the left, Stephen Means, Cleveland.com.
Ryan, CJ's talked at length about you preaching to him, taking the easy stuff, not getting bored with the routine stuff. His interception today, is that why you preach that so much?
Well, clear. It was, you could see they had a really good game plan coming in. They were going to, huddle, wait in the huddle, snap it at 10 seconds, and try to eat as much clock off the game clock as possible and try to win the game of possession. And then on defense, you could see they were playing a lot of 2 high safeties really deep and forcing us to run the ball, which we ultimately had to do. And we came out with a shot coming out in the first play of the second half, and we missed it, but there was a lot of really good throwaways that weren't there today by CJ, and he made some really good throws as well. So that's part of competing. That's part of it. Those are the types of games that sometimes we're going to have to play. And overall, I thought it was a job well done.
Over to the right, Nathan Baird, Cleveland.com.
Can you just update the situation with Trevion? Was that related to what kept him out of the Toledo game a couple weeks ago, or I guess knocked him out of that game? And go ahead.
Yeah, we certainly didn't expect that to happen going in, but then just struggled in warm-ups. So we were expecting him to play, practice this week, and so it showed up and kind of did linger from last week. But we were kind of surprised he wasn't able to make it, and so we had to go with Miyan.
And I guess just the extension of that, seeing Miyan step up and be a bell cow, sort of, instead of just the role sharing he's been doing.
Yeah, 23 carries, or 21 carries, 191 yards, 5 touchdowns, and the big one for 70 yards. It says a lot about the way he was running, especially in the red zone. I think our red zone numbers right now are really good, and it's a big part of it is the offensive line and the way we're running the football. But I just think overall the tight ends, the wide receivers, everybody's involved with this run game, but Miyan was running hard today and finished a bunch of runs in positive. He turns a 3-yard run into 5, keeps us on schedule, and and it was tough down there in the red zone. They kind of dug in a few times. We had to go for it on the 4th down, and but Miyan had a really good day for us.
Over to the left, Dan Hope, 11 Warriors.
Hey, Ryan, Tommy and Steele both had big games today. Just how much better are those guys playing than they were a year ago? What are the biggest ways in which you've seen those guys improve?
Yeah, I think they're just playing faster. They're diagnosing plays faster. They understand how teams are trying to attack them. And I think I mentioned this before. I think it's twofold. One is a year under your belt of playing and figuring out how teams are attacking you and in-game adjustments and just seeing things over and over and over again. And you think about some of the best linebackers that we've had here in the last few years. It's usually guys who have played and seen things. You can flash when you're athletic, but it's the diagnosing of plays and understand how teams are trying to really come after you. But then also I think they feel comfortable in the scheme. I think they really have a good relationship with Jim Knowles, who they meet with every day. He's their position coach, and so I think he gives them really good perspective on how he fits into the run, but also in the pass game, and that's huge. You can just see it. I think they're playing that way. You can just kind of feel it when you're on the sideline. I'm sure that, from your point of view, you see the same thing.
Over to the right, Joey Kaufman, Columbus Dispatch.
Ryan, just a couple other personnel matters. Tanner McAllister came out of the game in the second quarter. Just what's his status and as far as Cam Brown too?
Yeah, I don't really have much of an update right now on Tanner. We'll kind of evaluate him later today and tomorrow and kind of see where that's at. And then, Cam, we're trying to get back as soon as we can. Again, we kind of come in tomorrow and see where things are at and hopefully get a week of practice out of those guys. But again, we're going to always, make sure that we're following the lead of the doctors and the medical staff on the whole thing. And certainly the feedback of the players is critically important in all of this. So, at the end of the day, I'm kind of out of it. I trust the guys and they do a great job.
Second row left, Cameron Teague Robinson, The Athletic.
Ryan, it seemed like that defensive front, the linebackers and the defensive line, really set the tone for you guys today, whether in the kind of swallowing things up in the run game, getting after Simon a little bit. Just kind of how important were they, how important were they today, and kind of setting the tone for you guys? Yeah,
I mean, it's anytime you're trying to stop the run and play great defense, you have to win the line of scrimmage, and that's a big part of it. And, you could see that they were disruptive just watching the play. You could see the line of scrimmage was getting moved back a bunch. But they did some good things too. But overall, I thought our guys had a good feel for it and a good edge. And so, now we got to keep building on it, and go on the road next week. And but I think you're starting to see a rhythm with those guys up there in terms of rotation and the way that they're playing. It's starting to become a body of work, which is important.
Over to the right, Bill Rabinowitz, Columbus Dispatch.
Yeah, I just grabbed him. I said, what happened, And he said, I rolled out to the right, and he goes, nobody was on me. I said, okay. Anybody tell you to do that? He says, no. I said, okay, we'll talk about that tomorrow.
And just in general, I mean, it was a comfortable win, but did it feel clunky at times to you?
I think it has to do with the way that, the way that they kind of went into the game, playing a lot of too high coverage, saying, all right, you're either going to run it for 5, and we're good with that. Or you're going to have to take the throws underneath. And then on offense, running it, huddling, running 30 seconds off the clock every play and snapping inside of 10 seconds. So, what happens with that is on offense, we end up with 59 total plays. They ended up with 56. So just not a lot of football there. And even at the end, in that fourth quarter, we're just kind of running out the clock and moving on. But, still, 49-10, it's still a heck of a day. But in those type of games, you have to be proud of the win. And it's hard to get style points when you're playing in that style of a game. And I think the one thing about our team is they're good with that. You talk to the guys on defense, they love it, but, the guys on offense, it's not always the best, but they understand that winning's the most important thing. And if you start to get selfish or undisciplined, you can put yourself at risk in a hurry. And our guys know that it's important to make sure that we win, and we have to win different ways.
Over to the left, Rob Aller, Columbus Dispatch.
Ryan, you just kind of said it. Your offense, or at least your passing game's clunky, but you still score 49 points despite them playing you the right way. How do you stop you if you were on the other side? Is this the way to do it, or?
It just depends. It depends on your personnel. It depends on what it is, and then we try to identify what's being done, and then we attack them in that area. If it's a too high structure, then we're gonna run the ball and control the clock, and that's okay. We're good with that. You can sit there and drop 8 every snap and say you're not going to throw the ball, or you can put a bunch of guys in the box and say you're not going to run the ball. That's why the balance is so important when you're playing, and this is a great example of that right here.
And real quick, without pressing the issue, is it your understanding, without getting into detail too much, Greg thought that it was a called fake punt? Was that part of what brought him over? And
Oh, I don't know. I think he was just coming over to defend his player, just because he was kind of over there on our sideline, and it was a late hit, and there was a lot of emotion. I think he was just trying to get his player out of there, and things like that happen in football, and he was just defending his player.
Over to the right, Clay Hall, WSYX.
When you see a guy go 52 yards up in your grill like that, though, and the both of you are squaring off, I mean, when's the last time the juice has flowed like
Clay,
that?
I'm not going to bite on that, so I'm sorry. I know.
It's confrontation, though.
Next question.
Over here to the right, Bill Landis, Rivals.
Had the forced fumble, and he tipped the ball too on the interception that Steele had. Just wondering what you thought of his play today, and maybe if you've seen him kind of building momentum to a game like this?
I think so. Yeah, I think he's playing well. I think he has built momentum. Watch the film and see how it was, but that was a huge play. Tips and overthrows are huge, and that was a tip that turned into an interception. And so, I think he's playing at a high level. We've got to watch the film and see, but I think he's been growing and building, and there's a chance he's playing his best football right now.
Got time for just a few more folks. Over to the left, Spencer Holbrook, Letterman row.
Ryan, are you kind of having to start getting used to winning the games by running the football and playing good defense? Seems like that wasn't really your calling card last year, and now I think, if by my count, this is your third time doing that this year. Is that just a change for you, and how good does it feel to be able to win like that?
Yeah, it feels great. I mean, anytime you win games, it feels great, and it isn't about all the other stuff. You win, you move on, right? I mean, that's what it comes down to, and that's the way we look at it. And you can try to put a square peg in a round hole or vice versa, but if a team says they're going to take away this, then you have to do something else. I mean, that's just the way the game goes. And there's been times where we've played against teams that just say they're going to stop the run, and so we've thrown it, and you guys have seen that, and we have the ability to do that. And you can see today, their game plan. But that's when you talk about unselfishness, and certainly starts with the quarterback and understanding how to win the game, and that's what makes great quarterbacks. I mean, I think you look in the NFL, and I heard a great quarterback the other day say, "What's your favorite play in the red zone?" He said, "Run the ball." I mean, that's understanding what it takes to play winning football, and he understands that, and I think our whole team understands that.
And final question for Coach over here to the right, Austin Ward, Rivals 97.1 The Fan.
Brian, tell me if I'm taking this idea too far, but between last week with Jair's penalty, defending after the Mirko thing today, and spending all season talking about competitive stamina and toughness, does that apply to the coaching staff as well? And are you coaching with a different edge, do you think, than years past for your players?
I don't know. I know that this team is hungry. I know that we're playing with an edge. I think people feel that, and I wouldn't look too much into it. But at the same time, you have to bring it every single week, and that's everybody across the board for sure.
Great, Coach. Thank you very much.
No problem.
All right, folks, I'm going to bring C.J. Stroud to the main podium for just about 5 quick minutes, and then I'll follow him up with Miyan WIlliams at this main podium, and I'm going to put some other players at the back there. Miyan, I want you to hold off. I want you at the main one. Zach, I'll take you. Steele, I'll take you. Julian was the first one up here. I'll take you. And I'll take the next player. Yep, to the back. Yep. Thank you. Yes, sir. Thanks. Thanks, Steele.
Jerry.
Hey, Tron. All right, folks, in the back right now we have Zach Harrison, we have Julian Fleming, we have Steele Chambers. Hey, guys, each of you take a table. Yeah, thank you. And Teron Vincent, and also Javante Jean Baptiste. And then we'll open up questions here at the front for C.J. Stroud. Who's got the microphone? We'll, Louisa, right over here, please. Tim May, on 3.
Yeah, Letterman Rowe. CJ, describe this kind of day from your vantage point. Obviously, it didn't seem like a big throwing day all the way around, et cetera, with the breeze, et cetera. But obviously, you tried to make Marvin Harrison Jr. a hero a few times. Things didn't click, pass interference and stuff. But how would you describe it from your vantage point? Because Ryan Day was saying great quarterbacks just want to get the win, want to get the touchdowns.
Yeah, first and foremost, I just want to give all glory and praise to God. Without him, I wouldn't be here. From my perspective, we won. Shit, I don't really care. I think their goal as a defense was not let our pass game win, and so we ran the ball. So, early in the season, I said I was cool with that. It's not just about me. It's about getting wins and about other people eating. So when it's time for me to shine and do my thing, I feel like we'll do that. But I think their main goal was just to stop us on the passing game. And, we still kind of had efficiency with that, but they were taking a lot of stuff away in too high coverage and things like that. But just got to be smart with the ball on the one play out of halftime. And then after that, I think, we had a good game.
Was Miyan really feeling it today? What was you're around him a lot.
Yeah, that's definitely one of my best friends on the team, so it's just good. It's really inspiring to see him have a good game like that, all the stuff he's been through, all the stuff he's still going through now to this day, all the work he puts in, and just how focused he remains. So it's kind of cool to see his work pay off.
Over to the left, Cameron Teague Robinson, the Athletic.
CJ, with you mentioned obviously you just want to win games. You mentioned they took away the pass today. You guys were able to run the ball. How important is a game like this today, going down the road, knowing that, like, hey, if they want to try to take you and your receivers away, you can lean on Miyan and Travion?
Right. I definitely think that's something that we need just because, I mean, we are pretty dynamic on the outside, and then I think we do a great job on the inside protecting, and I definitely think that maybe other teams will try, but I mean, if we can run the ball that good and connect on some of the plays like we were doing in the past game, then it'll be a recipe for a win and success. So I definitely think that we'll continue to get better and better. Just got to clean up some things on the offensive side of just like pass pro and me just with my read, seeing one high, two high, and things like that. But they did some things on film we didn't think they were going to do. So just got to be prepared for everything. But I think we'll continue to be great.
Over to the right here, Nathan Baird, Cleveland.com.
Since you brought it up, can you kind of walk us through that first play of the second half? And is that an example of where they did something that you weren't expecting? Or
Nah, they just went to plain old cover two. The nickel carried. I thought I could fit it over his head and make a tight throw. Just got to be smarter. I mean, their safeties, when they run their cover two, they get so much depth that they kind of take away that and the whole shot just because when he sees the ball, that's when he reacts. So I tried to just fit it over the top. Could have made a better throw. Mecca ran a good route. The nickel carry, so I should have just checked it down in that cover two look because they just put a whole blanket over the offense. So I just got to be smarter right there. I know that coming into the season, I knew I was going to get a little bit of that. And, I mean, in the first half, we didn't do everything that we wanted to do, so maybe I just was trying to press a little bit too much. So just got to be smarter. A little bit of both. I mean, I'm never going to put this team at risk, I feel, to try something that I don't think I can complete. I know for a fact I can complete that ball. I just got to be a little better. I just got to step into a little more or something. I'm not sure. So, I mean, we'll get back to the drawing board, continue to watch film and get better. I mean, I think that's definitely just a learning point. In the season, like, everything isn't figured out in any team in America, as you can tell around college football. So, I mean, there's nothing wrong with the Buckeyes. We're going to continue to be great.
And we got two more questions for CJ over to the far left. Jeremy Birmingham, Rivals.
CJ, did you learn your lesson about trying to celebrate with DeWand after Julian's touchdown? Because sort of got knocked over. But for real, in this season, you seem like the receivers have been rotating in and out, a lot of nagging injuries, stuff like that. Is it harder for you to get into a established rhythm during a game if you don't know who's going to be there or if practices are different or anything like that?
Not really. I mean, I built a good chemistry with everybody. I mean, the young guys even, like, they come out whenever we throw routes and stuff like that. So, I mean, sometimes we're throwing the ball so efficiently that it's just a big surprise when you're not perfect every Saturday. So I get why maybe the question was asked. But, I mean, I feel like our rhythm was fine. It's just we didn't get a lot of plays on offense totally. I think maybe we got 50-something. They got 50-something too. So just in college football, it's not a lot of plays getting around like back in the day when it was just spread offense, tempo. So now we just got to be smart with our drives, and we only didn't score on one drive. So if you look at that, that's a really efficient day. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely think I could have made that throw on that third down too. If I could have stepped into it just a tad bit more. But yeah, I definitely think that we'll continue to get better. I mean, that's at the end of the day. When you look at games like this, like, what can you learn from? You can always learn from something in the game. So, I mean, we'll continue to have great rhythm. And, I mean, I think both run and pass has been great. So we'll continue to build.
And final question over here to the right, Joey Kaufman, Columbus Dispatch.
CJ, how hard is it for you in games where teams are really sort of focused on taking away the pass and sort of that deep stuff?
I mean, it's not necessarily too hard. I mean, at the end of the day, as a quarterback, you just want to win. So, I mean, I'm not in it for my personal stats or nothing like that. It's not about me. It's about this team. There's so many great people on this team that have decided to come play at this great university, and it would be selfish of me just to do things that are unordinary or just dumb to put the team at risk. So I think just being smart is definitely just – I mean, I think that we just want to win. So, I mean, if that means that I don't throw for a lot of yards, I don't throw for a lot of touchdowns, I can really care less. I'm here to win. So, but I definitely think if we get more possessions, then maybe we do a little bit more. But at the end of the day, I'm blessed to be here. So,
great.
No. The breeze, I mean, y'all felt it. It was nothing. I mean, it was like, nah, none of my throws sailed. I just missed it. It is what it is.
CJ, thank you very much.
Thank y'all.
First of all, props to Mike Bassford for getting everybody up here. He works his tail off downstairs, and I really appreciate that. All right, next up front here, we're going to open up questions for Miyan WIlliams. Over to the right, Dylan Davis, Delaware Gazette.
Did you become aware of that touchdown record and that you were kind of approaching it? Did you know that at any point during the game?
I actually didn't. They didn't tell me until after I scored the last one. That's when I found out.
And I know that you and Trey have handled it so well, splitting carries, but how good did it feel today to be that guy, to get more of a featured role in the offense?
It's just a blessing. Just want to give a big shout out to the O-line, tight ends, and wide receivers for making that happen for me.
Over to the left, Cameron Teague Robinson, The Athletic.
Miyan, when did you realize, did you find out Travion wasn't playing? And two, when you found out, or I guess not even that, when did you feel like you were getting into a groove? I mean, it seemed like you were running through people and by people all game.
It was, what was it? I think during the first drive, after the first touchdown I had, I was like, okay, we got to get this ball rolling. And I just told the offense, we just got to keep going. I think it was right before the game. Yeah.
Over here to the right, Bill Rabinowitz, Columbus Dispatch.
When that happened, what did you like a jolt of energy knowing it was going to be you? And also the guys that you tied, Pete Johnson and Keith Byers, are legendary players. What does it mean to you to be in their company?
It wasn't like a joy of energy. I just told him, I looked him in his eyes, I told Trey, I got you today. And it's a blessing just to be just up there with them names. Those are legends here. So yeah, it's definitely a blessing.
Over right next door, Tim May,
take
on 3, the Tim May podcast.
Yeah, there you go. What do you think about that, Miyan? Miyan, what's it like, though? Little handoff, all of a sudden you look up, just green in front of you. Take us through that play, because that really kind of put your day over the top.
When I broke and I just seen green grass, I was just running. I was just telling myself don't get caught. So I just kept running.
And how important is it to get one of those? Excuse me.
It's not really important. It's just it's a blessing. Just a blessing to have to break one. So yeah.
Over here to the right, Austin Ward, Rivals, 97.1 The Fan.
Mine, I could look it up, but I think it might be easier to just ask you. Did you have games like this in high school, 5-touchdown game, more? Or is this
yeah.
You did, all right.
The most I scored in high school was 6 touchdowns in the game.
Did you think that you would ever have one of these once you got to the next level, or you could do that again?
I never would have thought. I never would have thought I would have had a game like this.
Do you have to come up with other touchdown celebrations, get more creative when you?
I don't think so. It's just a blessing, man. I just give all glory to God, man.
Over here to the far left, Spencer Holbrook, Letterman Row.
Miyan, it seemed like all of your touchdowns came, just a few yards away, but the 70-yard one, did you think you were going to get caught? It looked like you were high-stepping a little bit, trying to get away from everybody.
I was actually, once I was running, I didn't feel like I was going to get caught, but I was just, it was just in the back of the head, just don't get caught. I was just telling myself that, so yeah.
Can you kind of walk us through that play a little bit? How did that unfold? When did you see the hole open up, and once you saw it, did you just know that you were gone?
I ran, and then the safety had blitz, but I made him miss. So, after that, wasn't nobody else in front of me. So I just ran.
And last question for Miyan up here in the front, Nathan Baird, Cleveland.com.
Can you just sort of describe for the rest of us what you're seeing on the field from this offensive line and the tight ends and receivers in front of you, and just what they're doing right now to propel this run game?
Just rocking off the ball and really taking their men and just driving them. So they're just doing a good job firming them up, just blocking.
Great. Miyan, thank you very much. Congratulations on a great game.
Thank you.